Welcome to the Vulnerable Room. Hey, everybody, and welcome on back to another episode of the Vulnerable Room podcast. I am your lovely host, Darnique. I am spitting out the content because I know I've been slacking, so I owe you guys that much. So at the moment, I don't have any life updates, but I'm pretty sure I'll probably have some soon. I don't have any book reviews at the moment. Currently, I am reading and listening to about 4 books right now. So I'm pretty sure, more than certain, I will have a thorough book reviews for the books that I'm reading and listening to. So just bear with me, hanging tight. So let's get into our room for advice segment. I'm always going to have one of those as long as you guys keep leaving me messages. So again, this is a new segment that has been introduced in this season for the podcast. And this is my personal way of connecting with you guys. So if you have like a question that you would like to ask me, you have a topic you want to just talk about briefly, or you just want to show a little on me some love. And if you want to remain anonymous, that's completely fine, whatever floats your boat. But the link is in my bio on the podcast page, and you just click it and you leave a message. You instantly start recording. Well, you can listen to what I said first if you really need to, and then you can start recording. So I have a message today, and let's get into that one.
Hey y'all, this is Janice from Long Island. And shout out to my girl Darnique, who's been doing her thing with the Vulnerable Room for a minute now. I'm so proud of you, girl. My topic today is about friendships. We all know that navigating friendships as an adult can be very hard, especially after losing people you were once close with. It's hard trusting new people. Also, there can be a struggle in how we newly navigate friendships we may choose to want to mend due to trust issues. I feel this has happened to some of us at one point or another in our lives. What advice do you have to keep things most genuine and free flowing?
Hey, Janice, that's a great topic. You're absolutely right. Navigating friendships as an adult can be tough, especially after losing trust or trying to reconnect with people. Here's some advice to keep things genuine and free flowing, you said, right? So, one, I would say be honest about your feelings. Let people know where you stand emotionally, and I feel like real friends will respect that. Two, build naturally. Don't force deep connections. Let trust grow through consistent small moments. Three, set boundaries. Be clear about what you expect and need in a friendship. Mutual respect is key. Give grace, but trust your gut. Mistakes happen, but if the energy feels like off or inconsistent, it's okay to step back. And five, be vulnerable. Friendships deepen when both people feel safe enough to be real. Let things flow naturally, like I mentioned, and if the connection feels right, it's worth exploring. If not, it is okay to move on. So I hope that answers your question. Thank you for sharing. Let's dive into today's topic. Today's topic is entitled Slaying on a Budget. I have a very special guest here with me to help me lead and guide the way in how to slay on a budget. Introducing a modern day Renaissance woman in her right, Shanai Walker. She wears many hats, including content creator, influencer, personal trainer, and respiratory therapist, and now also amateur bodybuilder. Her mission is to encourage and inspire other women to be their best selves, whether it's putting together a fly look, getting in the best shape of their lives, or just breathing better. As a fashion and style creator, Shanai is the plug for putting a fly look together within your means and always promotes everyone honing in on their own personal style. I know so many of you are interested in becoming creators or just curious about what goes on behind the scenes. So this episode is all about pulling back the curtain and hearing from people who are making it happen. And today's episode is all about fashion, but not just any kind of fashion. We're talking about how to look good, feel confident, and express yourself without breaking the bank. Whether you're trying to level up your style or just want to have fun with fashion, this episode is for you. With me today, I have someone who knows how to make fashion feel effortless and fun and even on a budget. Please welcome Shanai, my stash, to the vulnerable room. Hey girl.
Hi, Stash. Thank you for having me. I'm so
No
excited.
problem. I'm so glad we finally are able to do this. How are you
Yes.
feeling today?
To be honest, I am very exhausted. So, for those who don't know me, I am currently in a bodybuilding prep, which requires a lot of working out and a lot of time commitment. So, right now I'm at the end of my prep. So, low carbs, low food sources, and a lot of working out still. So, I'm a little drained, but what is giving me some energy is being here today. Thank you so
Aw.
much for having me. This is really, really such an honor.
No problem, because I've watched you from the start of your beginning of your content creating, getting more so into fashion. Like I felt like I've had a front row seat over the years. So that leads me to my first question. How did you even get started with fashion and content creation?
So, like many other creators, the journey, like you said, has been a while. It's something that sometimes the starting points aren't even that like obvious. So, actually, like years ago, before I started my Instagram page with fashion, I
Mm-hmm.
had a YouTube channel.
I
And,
remember that.
I wasn't very consistent with that. Then I had one with my sister, one of my younger sisters. And we also, we had some good videos, we had some hits. And then we just kind of stopped. Because I think what people don't realize about content creation, and that's what I realized, is that it's a lot of work. Like creators do a good job. The same way, like with your podcast, that like it may look like Darnique, she's on the microphone. Oh, I could do. No, you can't. Like it's a lot that goes behind it.
It
And,
is.
I can even imagine. So the same thing, like a lot went into it. And then I kind of just fell off. I guess like it was also like me battling with instant gratification. Like I guess maybe I thought that I was going to do one video and it was just going to and that's just not what happens. You have to consistently
Mhm.
grind out. So I kind of stopped. And then I started dating like a boyfriend from the past in maybe like 2017, 2018. And then I was sharing something on my stories about a product I had gotten just because I like sharing things. Like I'm a girl's girl. I'm always talking with other girls about
Yes, you
makeup,
are.
beauty, skincare, all that good stuff. Like I love all the girly things. And I was sharing it on my stories and he was like, you should really just like do that. Like you're good at explaining things. You have some interesting perspective. You should go and do
Mhm.
that. So I thought about it. I was like, you know what? Let me really try it again. So once again, I was like, oh yeah, this is going to happen in a year. This is going to be so easy. No, definitely not. So that's how that started. So when I started creating content, originally I didn't know if I wanted to do beauty or fashion because of course you want to do something that you're passionate about, but I also wanted to make sure that it was something I could really speak towards.
It
Like
comes
obviously I'm not a
naturally.
stylist, I'm not a makeup artist, I'm not an esthetician. So it's
Hmm.
like I don't have that expertise, but I was like, style is something that's there's no wrong or right way to do it. So it's something I could speak towards myself. So that's how that started. And then I just kept going with it.
That's so interesting. And it's always cool for me personally to hear how someone's creative journey begins because, like you said, a lot of people think it happens overnight, but it's usually like a process. And making content for something, for a clip that's like 1 minute, you know how long that takes?
Oh yeah, I know. And then to make it worse when it doesn't perform well, you don't get the response
My
you're thinking.
gosh.
It's just like that's just the way it happens though. Like, after a while you kind of get to the point where it's like you put your best foot forward and if it connects with people, you hope it connects, but if it doesn't connect, maybe there's something you could tweak or maybe sometimes it just takes a little bit longer for people to catch on to what it is. So
Absolutely.
but yeah, it takes a lot of time. People don't realize how much goes into it because, like, the same thing with, like, say, like your podcast. Like, you have to like do everything, especially at the level that we're at. There's no big team, no machine behind you. You are the machine.
Exactly. I'm the editor. I'm the person that produces.
Marketer.
Exactly. I'm the marketer. Like it's a lot of hats that you wear when you're like a one woman show.
Yes.
So, did you always know you wanted to create fashion content or did you just started to shift in that way like naturally?
So when I first started creating content, I think one of the things I did when I was trying to figure out what I was going to focus on, because of course as a creator you can focus on whatever you want to focus on, but a
Mhm.
lot of people will give you the advice of like, oh, you should pick like one niche, one topic, and really stick at that and become known for that before you do too many things.
Okay.
So when I was trying to figure that out, I had to ask friends and family that were close to me, like, what do you think, that what would you rather hear from me? Would you rather hear beauty or would you rather hear fashion? Like I always was going to include both of them, but a lot of the feedback I got was like, okay, do fashion. So I was like, okay, I'll do fashion. And that was a whole other journey. But like, like as far as like, did I always want to be a fashion creator? I feel like one of the things I like about being a creator is I feel like my entire life, a lot of like my schooling and focus has been on science and math. And I feel like being a creator has given me an outlet to show my more creative side and to tap into that more, because I am a creative person. But like, like our families, our friends, like, they want the best
Yeah.
for us. So usually they'll kind of push us, especially I feel like with Black, Caribbean, whatever families, it's always
Yes.
go be a nurse, go be a doctor, go be a lawyer. Like there's nothing else that exists besides those things.
I know. And can you tell people what you do, like for your
Oh
nine to
yeah.
five?
So the other things I do, I am a respiratory therapist. I am the manager and educator for a hospital in New York City. And I've been an RT for about 10 years. 10 plus years. Oh my God. And then I'm also a personal trainer and now also doing bodybuilding as well. So
You wear many hats outside of content
too
creating too.
many. I need to, as I'm getting older, I need to scale it back because I don't have the same energy I did like 20 years ago. It's not.
Mm-mm. Like we're slowly becoming, I hate to say it, but seasoned out here.
No, it's true. Like earlier, my sister FaceTimed me and I had my bonnet on and my nightgown. And I was like, oh my God, look like my mom and my aunt. I'm like, what is going on here? Like, what is happening? I'm morphing into them.
We understand them now, the older that we're getting.
Yeah.
If I wasn't here in front of the screen right now, I probably would be in my bed or lounging on the couch just watching TV. So
Yeah. I definitely
adulting.
understand.
Yeah. So let's shift gears a little bit. Let's talk about discovering personal style. So once you started putting yourself out there, like how did you go about figuring out what is Shanae's personal style?
It's so funny because me and one of my other fashion friends, we always talk about this, about like,
Really?
everyone has their own fashion or style evolution. So there's things that I feel like when I first, like some of the outfits I first put together, I look at it now and I'm like, oh, hell no. Like I wouldn't be wearing that. Like, at the time I thought it was cute, which is what matters, is that, you feel good about what you're wearing. But
Right.
now I wouldn't. So I think now, like, I think becoming a fashion creator has actually really helped me hone my personal style and to really pay attention to what things do I gravitate towards, what's kind of
Okay.
like a formula of clothes I would put together more frequently, what looks good on my body type, what makes me feel confident, because confidence is always going to be the key thing. You've seen people, I'm sure you've seen people wear some wild stuff that you would never wear, but they wear it
Yeah.
with so much confidence, like they're like the baddest, like anything
They
in the
have the
world.
swag.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And it just
Yeah.
works. And I'm like, they're fly. I couldn't wear that, but I'm here for it. So I think that for discovering my personal style, what really helped was just really playing around with things and just seeing what I
Okay.
liked and didn't like and just getting comfortable. Like, you hear people say shop your closet. So, really like putting things together, because sometimes those are my favorite looks, like random things I put together. Like, let's see if I put this and this together, how does this look? Does it work? Does it not work? Do they complement each other? Do they not? And I think after a lot of trial and error, you start to figure out what works for you and what look you're going for. I think what also
Gotcha.
helps me is thinking about what vibe I want to give off when people,
Hmm.
first impressions, people look at how you look. Like, what do I want my style to say about me? What do I
Without saying
want?
anything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So that's kind of how I did that. And then just discovering new brands and getting introduced to other creators who have different fashion styles, all of that. So that's how I would really say I came up with my personal style. And I still feel like it's changing every day, but I definitely feel in comparison to when I first started, my personal style is I definitely have a much better understanding of what my personal style is and how I would describe it.
Gotcha. And to piggyback off of something you said, like, when someone has like so much swag and you love their content, especially when it comes to fashion or beauty, like, you don't even know what they sound like, what they voice sound like, because all you see is like, quick clips, music playing over the video. And I've always wondered, like, with certain content creators, like what they voice sounds like. So that's, to me, that's how you know, like, you're doing a great job. Like, all we know and all we see is just the content. Like, we don't know probably anything about you personally unless you feel the need to share. Yeah. But that's so relatable in regards to what you said about figuring out your personal style, because what may work for you may not work for the next person. And I think a lot of people like feel pressure to follow trends, but
Yes.
figuring out your Yes, but figuring out your own style, I feel like is probably much more rewarding. So, do you feel like your style has evolved since you started creating content?
Absolutely, in so many different ways. As far as even like, I know we're going to talk about it a little bit later, but even as far as like finding quality pieces that fit my budget, I definitely have gotten very good or more resourceful at doing that.
I think so too.
So it definitely has evolved, and just like how I want to portray myself, what I not portray myself, but how I want to present myself to the world, and what things I really want in my closet, what things I realize that aren't. And like you touched on trends, and I just feel like me and my creator friends always talk about that. Like I hate trends, low key, because I just kind of feel like as a creator, I think sometimes there's this attitude, or where a lot of creators are taught when they're first starting from like other like more like seasoned like influencers or creators to like
Okay.
copy what people are doing. Like one of the advice I got from somebody before when I first started, which is good advice, but I feel like you also have to take with a grain of salt, was to look at the creators that I liked and like to take look at the elements of what I liked about their content and then, of course, make it my own, but apply it. And a lot of times they'll say, don't reinvent the wheel, don't do this. And I think sometimes that message gets misconstrued to other people. I
Okay.
think what happens is that people think that means to just copy, and it's not just the copy. Like if you're gonna wear the skirt that 20 other fashion influencers already wore and it's kind of played out now, what are you doing that's like, how is this related to you? How is this true to your style? And what makes it different about what you're styling it? So I feel like
Absolutely.
I'm just really just not a fan of trends. And I think too, I have fallen guilty to this. I feel like when it comes to trends, I feel like it's easy to think you like something because you keep seeing it and then you
Mm,
buy it and then a couple months later you're just looking at it like you just want to throw it away. You're just angry. You're thinking about your money you lost. You're not going to get any money from selling it. It's just
especially with
not really your
designer
style.
out pieces, like those luxury pieces, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, luckily, I feel like when it comes to that, because they're so expensive, I'm like, nah, my ass has. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
I'm like, it happens all the time I work at a meeting, and I'm like, and everyone's like, Shanai, and I'm like, oh, but like those pieces, I definitely I think hard about anything I add to my wardrobe now, especially. But I think that yeah, it's easy to get caught up in the trends. Like, say for example, there was a time where they had Amazon the drop, they had Target, the Target collabs, and like all the
um,
creators, we all felt like,
okay.
because me and one of my really close influencer friends talk about that. Like, we felt like in order for people to look at our content or be interested, you have to go buy the stuff. And some of the things we bought weren't necessarily things that we really liked. We were just buying it for content and to show others. And as a
Mm,
creator, it has to be a fine line. So even creators get caught up in the trends and like the hype and then regretting it later.
yeah, I'm sure your bank account is looking at you.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I had to have several conversations with myself and scale back a little bit because it's like, yeah, girl, you ain't rich and nobody's paying you and you don't even like it. So why are you like, not that I ever showed anything I didn't like, but there were things that I felt like I could put the outfit together, but is this something I'm going to naturally grab for again? Probably not. So those things I don't
Yeah.
add to my closet anymore. It's not allowed.
I love that. And I love the honesty because when people think about, for me personally, before I got into like, it's even weird me calling myself a content creator,
You
but
are though. This is
I
content.
know, I know. But like getting into like podcasting, like when I had to sit down and just map out everything, I'm like, okay, this is adding up. So I can only imagine what it's like for makeup content creators, fashion content creators, food content creators. Like this is not a cheap hobby.
No, it's not. It's not. And it's funny because, like, with this and bodybuilding, I'm like, why do I keep picking? Like, I just have expensive taste, like, expensive hobbies, expensive. I'm like, I couldn't find something that's affordable to go do it myself. Well, I guess the gym is affordable, but then when you start adding in the other stuff, it's not. But
Yeah, it's
yeah,
not.
like, it's a lot. Like, the equipment, it's a lot that goes into it. The time you have to, because you always,
Yeah.
I'm sure you do this. You think about when you first started off and how you had to figure out how to do things, and it seemed so hard and annoying. And now it's like,
Yep.
it's like, but like, it takes time and effort to do that. Like,
Right.
anytime anybody makes something hard look easy, they had to put the hours in. Like there was no,
I agree. I think the easiest part is recording. The
yes,
hardest part
for me
is
too.
piecing it
I can
together.
record all day. It's the editing, the
Yes.
planning, the
Yes.
marketing. It's the other
Yes.
stuff that's hard.
You're like, okay, I had to get more organized with this season. So what I started doing, like I had like a planner and I just started writing down, okay, what are the topics I would like to talk about? Who are the guests I feel like might be perfect for these episodes? Now, when can I meet with them? Let me try reaching out to, 'cause it's all time consuming and balancing that and your 9 to 5 is like,
and then your personal life, family, friends,
Yes, yes.
obligations. And if you have family and friends that, and I don't mean this in a disrespectful way, but like sometimes like if they're not as busy or they don't have other endeavors that they're embarking on, they really don't get
Yeah,
it.
they don't get it,
No, they don't. They
and
try to,
it's
but they just
okay.
don't get it.
Yeah, it's only for us to understand, but it's all right.
Yeah.
So, also, like, how do you balance staying true to yourself versus keeping up, like, with the Joneses?
Like I said, like it's something that I feel like a lot of creators struggle with, and I did for a little bit. Like not so much my identity, but feeling like I needed to almost kind of like buy things in order to have content. And I've come to the
Hmm.
realization years later that no, that's not what it is. Like there's people
Okay.
literally who only use their closet and what they have and or only make their clothes themselves and they have content. Like that's not what it's about. Like I think that what's important is like what I've learned for myself is staying within my means and then finding creative ways or more innovative ways to get that message across. Or for example, if I am going to buy something, it can't be solely for content. Like it has to
Okay.
be something that if I'm buying, say I'm buying a handbag, it can't be something that I feel like, oh, everybody wants to know about this, so I'm going to go post about it and get YouTube views. No, it has to be something that I'm buying because Shanae loves this. And Shanae loves it so much that she's going to share it with her audience and tell all the details. Like, it's like my perspective has changed on how I want to present and what can I provide to be helpful to others.
I love
Which is hard
this.
because as a creator, you think like, and it's something I have to correct myself on too. Not saying no one cares about me, but people are here for me to help them. They don't care about,
Absolutely.
well, this is how it looked on me. Yeah, that's nice, Shanae. But how can that help me? How can I wear that? Where can I find that? How can I find that? That's more what people really want. And I do think that's important. Like you got to serve your community, not to be corny, but yeah.
No, it's true because I love that you said that. You're serving your community, but however, there's some people that's into, that do fashion content creating, makeup content creating. And then me as a supporter, I will look at their content and I'm like, okay, let me leave a comment because I would like to know where you got this from. What grinds my gears is when they act like they don't know where they got it from or they don't want to tell you. I don't like that.
I don't either, and that's really weird because I almost kind of feel like, say for example, I'm not gonna say any names, but there is a fashion creator that I think her style is so dope. Like she's so amazing. She has such cool pieces, and I feel like obviously our styles are different, but still, it's in the same realm. I would say like she likes a lot
Okay.
of statement pieces, colors, prints, mixing different like vibes together. But she never posts where she gets the items from. And
Why?
I don't know. I don't know what that's about. Like the only thing I can think of as a creator is that when people ask me where you got something from, like, oh, where'd you get that from? And like I already said in the caption that link in bio or go to my like to know it. The reason why creators do that is because sometimes people don't realize that like that's like like you said, it's expensive and people want to make a little bit of coin off of like their work. Like I'm not trying to say it
Absolutely.
has to be all about money, but like you said, you spend like 2 hours for 1 minute video and you're talking about, say if it was this sweater, like, oh, that sweater's so dope. If I just tell people where the sweater's from, how is that? I'm giving, so other people are profiting and getting the information. But what about me? Where's my return? So sometimes I feel like they don't want to say it in the captions or not the captions, like the comments, because they want people to go to their link in bio. But I know there are
But they
some
could
people who just
easily
always
just
want to
say,
share.
"Hey, love, link is in the bio."
I
I've had
agree.
someone say that to me before, and I went to their bio and I found the link.
Yeah, because it's pleasant and it's just like redirecting. Like, let's be real. Like, whether it's content creation or like work, I realize nobody reads. Like,
Yeah,
people just don't read. And
I'm
I feel
guilty
like it
of
just
it.
grinds my gears because I'm a reader. I read stuff. So I'm just kind of like, but like, I understand, like you said. So I feel like the nice way, what I think is appropriate if you're really serving your community is to just, like you said, reach out, like, hey, my what you call link in bio, or here's the link. If they DM you, they could DM you the link.
Yeah.
Even that I feel like is appropriate and actually is more personable. Like, here you go, girl.
And then, like, that person will remember that interaction. Like, you see
Yeah,
how I remember that one interaction, but I don't like that. Like, when I can only say for women, the gatekeeping, I don't like it. Someone had to put you onto it.
yeah.
So why can't you share the wealth?
You know what's interesting about that is that that is true. A lot of people do that, but in the creator space, I actually say this all the time. For the most part, most of the creators have been very like, even though obviously, if we're looking at it like objectively, we are competing. We're competing for the same audience. We're competing for the
Yeah,
same brands. But I've never gotten any weird or bad energy from most creators, especially
that's
like
good.
well, on the smaller level, like on the level that I'm at. Like the people who are like larger, sometimes they I don't know, they could be a little funny style. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's like the pressure or like they maybe they feel like I don't know what it is. But like at the level I'm at, everybody's actually very like it's good like sportsmanship for lack of better words. Like it's
Yeah, I love
camaraderie. It's
that.
like we're helping each other. Like say for example, I have a friend and we're both trying to go for a campaign. I share things, she share things. But you know, whoever they say they pick one person, whoever they pick, they pick. That's what it is. But I'm happy for my friend because clearly they picked her. Maybe she's a better fit than I am for the brand, which is fine. Because why would I want to do something that I'm not a fit for?
But who knows? Maybe your friend in the long run, maybe they could pass your name down as a
Exactly.
reference.
It goes, and that's why
Yeah.
I think a lot of creators who are like good creators and really care about the community of it, they understand that. Because it's like, it doesn't behoove you to like gatekeep and do things because, you know, we all, connections and networking is so important and those
Okay, so
relationships.
let's get into the budget side of things because I know that's where a lot of people struggle, including myself. Looking good can feel expensive, but I feel like you mastered the art of creating stylish looks without spending a fortune. What are some of your go to strategies for looking fashionable on a budget?
I think that in 2025, it has become so much easier to, you know, have a really great look on a budget. I feel like
Yes.
a lot of the more affordable, more accessible brands, I think they have gotten the message that nobody wants, like, not to be funny, no, back in the day, like, you know, we had all the stores that we would shop at, but if you bought like an outfit from like Kmart, I don't know if I'm dating
I
myself. So
remember
if you don't know
Kmart.
what Kmart, do you know what Kmart is?
I remember
Okay,
what
not you. I thought you were saying,
Kmart
I
is.
don't know what Kmart. I was like, oh my God, I really gotta know.
No. I even remember Caldors, but go ahead.
Yeah, Calder. I remember that too vaguely. Yeah. So it's like, you know, you would see the clothes there and it's like, yeah, that's not it. That's just not it. And then I feel
Hmm.
like nowadays, a lot of those brands like Target, H&M, Zara, well, especially like I feel like Target has really been surprising me. Like they
They've been
really have been
stepping it
trying to
up.
amp up the style. And I think even the brands that were used to being affordable that people would go to, even I've noticed with some, they've been elevating their styles, elevating the
Yeah.
pieces they have available, making it look more luxe. Because let's say, for
Yes.
example, I know one of the things that drives me towards like if I do buy something that's designer or luxury is usually not just the quality, but the unique quality, like the unique aspects of the design. Because I
Okay.
feel like usually designers or brands will have pieces that you know they're not you're not going to find it anywhere else. So it's like you know to me because that's kind of like where my personal style lies, where I like it to be clean, but I also like it to be like a pop, like a statement of some sort. And I feel like they do that really well. But I feel like the more accessible brands are definitely doing a really great job at that right now. Like there's so many options.
I love it.
Like and I think there's too many options. Not too many options, but there's something for everybody. But I would say like one of the key tips or one of the key things I've learned is how to find items that are decently made. Like obviously if you're buying something that's, you know, on the more affordable end, it's not always going to be the best materials. But
Yeah.
if you really pay attention to how the construction of the item is made, if you pay attention to like the care materials and really take care of it and follow the instructions, I feel like you can have a piece that you really like that will last a long time. And I
I
feel that way
agree.
strongly about like Zara. I know some people are like, I feel like people either love or hate Zara. It is a little expensive sometimes for what it is. Cause sometimes I'm like, Zara, am I paying a $500 coat from you? For all that, I
Yeah,
can go to Canada
please.
Goose on a sale.
I'm
Like
gonna
who
catch
y'all
it on
think you
sale.
are? Yeah, like nah, like there's certain things I just don't think are a good idea, a good sense, I guess a good method to buying things affordably.
Okay.
Because sometimes people think that because it's an H&M that if it says a leather jacket, like oh, it's an H&M, so this is cheaper than me buying a leather jacket from somewhere else. And that's one of the other things I've learned is that there's so many places and so many different ways to find quality things for less, whether it's like
True.
a vintage store, thrifting, online consignment shops. Also, like one of my favorite ways is emerging designers. So with emerging
Hmm.
designers or up and coming brands, they're not going to be super cheap. Like you're not going to get like something for like $20, but you're not going to pay $1,000 either. But what I like about those brands is that they're super exclusive because there's everything's usually made to order or things are very small quantities. So if you have something from one of those brands, no one else is going to have it. And then I still think that even though it's not as expensive as a luxury or designer item, the quality is still there usually.
Absolutely.
Like,
Yeah.
so I feel like it's a good, to me, it's a happy medium. If you're somebody who wants a little bit more, like you want to feel like, oh, I got some exclusive shit. I feel like I definitely think emerging or like emerging designers, up and coming brands, smaller brands are definitely independent brands are a way to go. So like
Okay.
two sites that I use to find emerging or up and coming designers. One of them is Doors NYC. I have pulled clothes from them before. I always find something super cool there. They have designers from all around the world. So they have designers from like in Africa, in Asia, Europe,
Wow.
whatever. So and then like I said, like it's not like I said, it's not cheap, but you're also not paying $3,000 for a coat. So to me, that's reasonable. So I feel like usually you're looking more in a price range of like probably 50 to like I would say like 300, which is still depending. That's really relative if that's
Okay.
expensive or not expensive to you. But I think that if you're buying something, say you want a really nice fly coat, like a trench coat for when you go out at night. I think that that's where I would go. Like, because you're gonna
Okay.
find something really unique, well made, and you're not gonna break the bank completely. Other things I think is like I said, with the affordable brands, just really getting better at understanding what materials are gonna hold up very well. And also, this isn't really necessarily shopping on a budget, but I think more so budget friendly, I guess, mindset is like we talked about it before about just because something's cheap or just because you could buy a large quantity of something doesn't mean that you should buy it. Like you should add it to your wardrobe because we've all
Okay.
fallen guilty to that where you're like, oh, this is only $10, or
Right.
I can get this one shirt for $100, or I can get five for $100. I'm going for the five for $100. And sometimes I felt like when I've spent more money on that one item, usually I really love that item, so I take more care of it because in my head it's more expensive and
The
it's just more.
quality.
Yeah, and it just means more to me than not. All my clothes are important to me, but like it's not the same mindset. And then on top of that, sometimes it lasts so much longer. So it's
Gotcha.
like you're better off. Like buying a pleather jacket versus buying a leather jacket. Like say for example, I kind of gave that analogy before where it's like maybe you might be able to get a pleather jacket from Zara and you're like, oh well, it's only $100 for a leather jacket, a faux leather jacket, that's good. Whereas like if you had went to the thrift store down the street, you probably could have gotten a Wilson's leather jacket for $50 that would last you forever.
True.
Because all my leather pieces have lasted me since I was like fourth grade, fifth grade. I still wear them.
See, yeah, it's a lot of longevity, and I'm at that point. This I like to mix highs and lows if I'm able to.
Yes.
I like, I like Zara. I mean, I do love a Shein. I'm not even gonna sit here and lie to you.
I'm so
Um,
bad. I get so much hate because all my friends love Shein, and I'm just like, and they're like, but I also have to tell myself
I
like, you can
love
find it's
it.
the same thing. Like, and it goes back to what we were saying. Like, you can find some really great things on it. You just gotta search.
And then even for some like good luxury pieces, there's sites like Essence, Farfetch, and there's another one is going to bother me, but
There's
I
so
feel
many.
like,
It's so bad. I'm
yeah,
such a shopaholic. I can name them off the top of my head.
I
Like,
forgot. It's yellow. Hold on, because I
there's Mode
have the
Operandi. There's
Selfridge.
Selfridge.
Selfridge, yes.
That's
So
one.
yeah,
Yeah.
like you can find like luxury designer pieces on there for the low. Like
You know
sometimes
where
they're
I
having a
really would
sale.
recommend people to get the most bang for your buck, and this is what me and one of my fashion friends talk about all the time, is the department stores. I feel like when we were
Yes.
younger, like Macy's and Bloomingdale's kind of like, those department stores kind of like, it wasn't really it. But like, now as an older adult, it's like, it is it. Because one, my style has, we have a more sophisticated style now because we're, older adults, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah,
We're whatever you want to
seasons.
call that. And then, what I will say is like my favorite thing is that they have lots of sales. Like they always have
Yeah,
designer sales. And then when you have their credit card or their reward system, you get more points for buying things. Like say for example, I bought a
absolutely.
birthday bag, and then with the birthday bag, I got a whole bunch of credit to redeem in store, and then I used that to buy a couple new pieces to add to my spring wardrobe. So there's gonna be a video coming soon with that. But yes,
Love
I feel
it.
like you get more bang for your buck with the department stores.
It's true.
Yeah, and
I
they
find
have like all the
myself
ones.
I find myself going back to Macy's. I be telling my mom, I'm sorry. I know you traumatized us in that store because we used to be in that store for hours.
Did you guys go to the
Okay.
34th Street one a lot too?
Like for hours. And I'm like, Mom, can I use your Macy's card? Like,
Yeah,
I want to maybe go get a perfume, or I want to go shopping looking for like a dress to wear to a wedding because like shout out to my bestie Shy. Like I started to get into going to these department stores to find quality wedding dresses like as for as a guest because
yeah,
I got tired of Fashion Nova, Pretty Little Thing. Like, you wash it or dry clean it one time, it's done. The zipper is faulty before you can even wear it. And that has happened to me before. Over it.
yeah.
Okay?
I
Oh,
agree. And like we were talking about the evolution, those are things that I feel like we all have to go through that to realize that like just because something like is cute, like the pieces are cute in those places that you named, but it's like, is it gonna hold up? And it also depends
no.
on what the purpose is. Like let's say if you know you only are going to wear this, like say it's a birthday and you're like, I'm only gonna wear this once, I will never wear this again. That's the time I'm gonna be honest, I will go the cheaper route because it's like I'm not gonna wear this again. I'm not gonna
Okay.
spend a whole bunch of money for something I'm gonna wear once. So
Fair.
that's when I will do that. But like you said, if it's something that I think that I'm gonna wear multiple times, it's like the Fashion
No.
Nova, the whatever. It's just like you're better off going to the department. And then the department stores have better customer service. Like
Yes.
usually like if something doesn't fit, you don't like it, they're gonna really cater to you. And I feel like with these brands, like Fashion Nova, when it first came out, I remember like packages wouldn't be delivered, nobody answers you, the phone number doesn't work, nobody cares, nobody wants to be
And this
interested.
is why they're facing so many lawsuits, like year after year after year. Like now they have like a class, is it called a class?
Class
Class
action
loss?
suit.
Yes, class action suit. Because basically, in short, I don't know how to word it legally, but it's deceitful. The clothes does not look like how it's presented on the models. When you
Nope.
receive it, it's
Unless you got a
completely
BBS.
different. Okay, so yes, they have a lawsuit for that, and I normally would buy my jeans from Fashion Nova, but I found myself going back to American Eagle.
Yeah, American Eagle. I know Abercrombie has some controversy or drama now too, but I've heard people, I don't have any from them, but I know a lot of people say that they like their jeans.
I
Personally, when
love
it comes
it.
to jeans, I feel like I actually really like Zara for an affordable option.
Okay,
Like,
I'll
I
try
would
them.
say that like they have like the denim. I like because I feel like I'm at a point where I want my denim to be a little bit thicker, like the material of the denim, because I feel like it
Okay,
just holds up better. So they have good ones, and I like Good American to be honest. Like as much as I know people aren't a fan of
I've
the
heard of
the
them.
sisters. But what I will say though is that their products, like as far as the clothes, actually are pretty good. Like the Good American jeans I like, and they have a very extensive size range. So like I'm
Okay.
short, so like I need the short length, and I feel like a lot of the other brands don't cater to that.
Mm-mm.
So yeah, I don't know, but like the department stores are definitely they're somewhere really good to try. And the other thing I do to find things cheaper is, or even to your point earlier about like when creators don't want to share where they got an item from. I always said I wouldn't share this because it kind of, not say I'm trying to gatekeep, but it's like, damn, it's kind of hurting my bag too. But what I would recommend for people to do, or I do all the time, or if you see somebody on the street with an item you like and you didn't get a chance to stop them, I screenshot or take a picture of it and then I go to Google and I upload it into the images. And then usually when you go
Yes.
to shopping tab, it'll show
Yes.
you all the stores, all the
Yes.
places. So like whenever somebody's like, oh, it's not listed where, I'm like, oh, okay, so you think I'm not gonna find it, and then I find it.
Technology, AI, like just tell us before we put on our Inspector Gadget hats and find
Yeah,
it ourselves.
yeah. I don't know what the motivation is behind that. So especially if someone axes,
It's weird.
it's a weird energy. I don't know.
I don't like
I
it.
don't think anyone does, but I feel like unfortunately for those people, I feel like stuff like that always catches up later on.
Yeah, because soon enough, it's going to come a point in time where they want to venture out into something different, into new spaces, and they're not going to want to feel like, that's being gate kept. But,
Yeah.
do what you do to others, it comes back to you,
Well, tables
unfortunately.
turn. Like, say, like,
Yeah.
I know creators that quote unquote, say before Reels, they were like the poppin' creators, and then slowly that kind of changed where they weren't the it people, and then there were other people, and it was like, oh, now you want to connect, now you want to
Yeah,
network, now
like,
you want to say
please.
hi. Where was the energy before when you thought you were hot shit? That's why you have to,
Okay.
like you said, you have to treat people accordingly.
Yeah. And we will never forget.
No, I'm one of those people.
There's
I'll forgive,
that.
but I'll never forget. I'm like that
Yeah, me
annoying
too.
friend who's like, "Yeah, remember 10 years ago? Remember 30 years ago?" And then it gets like, "Shanae, no one cares." I'm like, "I care."
I care. I remember it. So, yeah, that's that. So, let's talk about building confidence in fashion. Because sometimes the hardest part about fashion isn't finding the right outfit, it's feeling good in it. So,
Yes.
how did you build confidence in your personal style?
I would say the same thing with like trying different things and seeing how things fit on me. And I think also what's really important when it comes to style and confidence is not really looking for external validation, but looking more
Mm,
so for like the internal, which I know is easier said than done because we live in a world where we're all programmed to care about external validation. But like, for example, like I would do this thing. I still do this every now and then. I try not to. I'll ask somebody what they think about an outfit. Sometimes it's just to get a second look, but sometimes it's like, but what do I think about it? I'm the person who's wearing it.
mm,
So
okay.
it really has, you have to feel comfortable. And I think that's another thing is I realized for myself personally, when it comes to having confidence, I have, like, one of the best things is to make sure that it's well fitted. I feel like that's such a big thing. When I say well fitted, I don't mean like you have to change your body or anything, but finding something that you feel like you feel good in and you feel like
Okay.
complements your body shape, your size appropriately. So for example, if I'm wearing a dress that's always riding up, I'm not going to feel confident because the whole time I'm pulling it down. And I've learned that the hard way. Like that's not the vibe. Anything that's not well fitted to my body, I just feel like not well fitted as in tight, but I feel like it's not tailored to fit me. I almost
Okay.
kind of feel like that doesn't make me feel confident. Like if I have pants that are too long and they're dragging and I'm like stomping on it as I'm walking and tripping on it, that's not confidence. That's like clumsy and like not me.
Yeah.
So I think definitely that. And I think too, just also just once again, just really knowing what your style is and staying true to what you like. So one of the things I pay attention to is how do I feel about this item when I look at it? How do I feel when I wear it? You know when you get that new piece of clothing and you really like it and you wear it and you just keep wearing it, like when you were younger and you're like, oh, this is
Yep.
nice.
I
So if you
have
don't
I
feel
have a
that way about
few.
yeah, like you should feel that way about what you're wearing. You should feel comfortable. You should feel excited. If you feel like you don't even like it, then it's gonna show.
And that's fair and that's real. And I honestly like, even with podcasting too, because again, that's a form of content creating. In the beginning, I would want someone to listen to this and see how it sounds. And now being that 4 seasons later, I'm like, okay, this sounds good. No, this doesn't sound good. Like you become confident through trial and error. So just like how, like you just gave an example about a dress. You knew the dress was short, you thought it was cute, but you felt uncomfortable wearing it. And now over time, you're like, yeah, I'm not even going to do it to myself. I'm
Yeah,
going to get something
exactly.
to
Like
tailor
I'm not
me.
doing it. It's exactly what I tell myself. Like you know where this is gonna go. You're gonna be uncomfortable the whole entire event. You're not
Yep.
gonna like you're gonna be self conscious because you feel like everybody is like is riding up or something weird. Or even like for example, when it comes to say if you're wearing a tight dress and you don't feel like it's complimenting your body the way that you want it to, it's like why even put yourself through that? Because then we
Absolutely.
all had those moments or have a friend that had that moment and they're like sitting there with their coat on and it's like if you were gonna do that, why even wear that? Not to,
Yeah.
not to. I feel like I've had that conversation with myself. If you're gonna sit there uncomfortable with a coat on, then you probably shouldn't have. You should wear
Don't
something
wear it.
that you feel confident in, that you wanna, that you're not thinking twice about what people are thinking because you know that it's fly or you feel good in it.
I love that. And I appreciate the advice because, yeah, I'm at that age. I'm just like, comfort over discomfort. So,
Ooh, especially with the
yes.
heels and the
The
shoes,
heels, because not every
girl.
designer heel is made. I know I have wide feet.
Me
I have
too.
wide feet and little toes. And I have an arch in my foot. So certain shoes, I'm like, I have to try on in the store. And I remember when I was turning 25, I went to, I think it was Saks, and I tried on some red bottoms. I said, no. The Socates, I said,
Oh no,
absolutely not.
that's
No.
suicide, literally.
No, I'm not doing it to myself. I'm not going to put myself through the torture and the pain. Maybe I'll revisit later on in life, but I knew I was going to be standing in these shoes, and I'm like,
Yeah, no.
nah.
Those are not standing shoes. I feel like honestly, almost all, unless they're like sneakers or flats, all Louboutins are not standing shoes. Like I feel like they're
I
just not
heard
made for that.
that.
Like they all hurt. Like they just all just do. Like you said, just another thing about being confident. Shoes and heels. Like I definitely, like you said, especially the last couple years, especially after COVID when we all got kind of used to not really wearing heels again. It's
Yes.
like I just can't do it. Like I used to wear heels every day on campus for hours and then my feet never bothered me. Now it's like I wear for 10 minutes. So it's like I have to know what event or what mood I'm going. Like for example, if I'm going straight into a car and I'm going to sit down at a restaurant, I'll usually wear whatever I want to wear. But if I know
Okay.
I have to walk my ass to the train, I have to
Yeah,
no
no.
no 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 no. Like
No.
certain shoes are just a hell no.
Like I'm that friend, especially like during the summertime. I am that friend that if I wear heels, you will see me with my little dust bag with
Me
some
too.
sandals.
Yes,
No,
I have no shame in my game. I do not care
no.
because the truth of the matter is, no one cares that you have a little bag, but you will care when you're late at night sitting there with your
Yeah.
feet hurting, crying. So why not? Don't even do it to yourself.
And then days later, sometimes weeks later, your feet is still throbbing. Like I am okay. Forget about it. I
Yeah.
just choose comfort over discomfort.
Yeah, and that's one of the things I think about when I'm buying things now. Take shoes. It's like, what purpose is the shoe? Is this something that I'm trying to wear and to be walking around in? Because if it is, like you said about your birthday shoes, you knew you were going to be standing. So it's like, is this practical? No, it's
No, it
not. I'm not
wasn't.
doing it to myself.
Mm-mm.
It's not.
And
Those
that's so
Socates are
real.
crazy though, because those that arches. I don't have any. I don't have Socates for that. I just no.
It's too much. And anyone that has them, they will tell you, don't do it to yourself.
Yeah.
So, what advice would you give to someone who feels like they don't have the right body type or budget to be fashionable?
See, that's so crazy now to me to hear that. Not crazy because everyone's feelings are valid, but I would say that honestly, there's a space for everybody and there's always another angle or another way to present information. And I think those are things that actually people are looking for. I feel like people want to see different body types. Say, for example, the Fashion
I
Nova
do.
lawsuit. That's one of the reasons like I kind of got turned off from them. Like, yeah, I'm curvy, but at the same time, though, no one naturally really looks like that. So
Yeah.
I want to see real models or even like designer websites. I say it all the time. Like, no offense to anybody, but the skinny models, I'm like, no one, like, that's not, sometimes on the models, to me, no offense, it's not appealing. If I saw it on when I see it on regular people on Instagram, that gets me to buy it. Because once again, I can't relate to that. I'm not 6 foot and like a double zero.
Yeah, no.
Not what I'm at. So I feel like there's no right body type. I have friends or other creators that I follow that are super petite all the way to like super plus size. I just think that what's
Oh,
important is that we all want representation. And I feel like with social media,
absolutely.
what's so beautiful about it is that it's so unconventional where I feel like like we growing up, we're used to people curating what we're seeing and somebody forcing us to see one ideal as a beauty. Whereas Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, anybody can get on there and I don't mean it like anybody, but like anybody can go
No,
on
no.
there and share their story, share their perspective, and there's going to be somebody that relates to that. Because, like, say, for example, if you feel like you're a plus size woman and you feel like, oh, I don't fit like whatever standard for fashion, there's tons of plus size women that want to see someone else do that. They want to see somebody who looks like them do those things. So I would definitely not let that discourage you. To be honest, is fashion very shallow? Like the fashion industry? Yeah, it's
Absolutely.
very. It's so many different ways. It's racist, shallow, this, that. But I feel like that's what I like about social media is once again, you create your own platform, you curate your community, and the vibe that you want, and nobody can tell you that you can or cannot do it because I've seen everybody from all different body types do it.
I
As far
love it.
as budget, I feel like nowadays, especially with how phones have evolved and like just like the access to information, I don't really think like I think that of course like if you're somebody who aspires to be a luxury fashion influencer and you work at McDonald's, yeah, maybe that might not be realistic. But I feel like if you know you just want to create content, there's a way to do it. And I think you just have to be very mindful about okay, what am I looking to put out there? What do I want people to get from my content? What am I trying to share? Okay,
Okay.
what are my resources? What do I have available to me? What can I really maximize on in order to make that happen? What's my plan? How is this going to happen? And then what's great is I know lots of like there are fashion influencers that now only talk about luxury, but they started off posting pictures in their mirror with a selfie. Like that's all they were doing with like stuff from Target and
Forever
Zara.
21.
Exactly. Like
Yeah.
you have to go within your means. So don't ever feel bad about not being able to afford a whole bunch of things or seeing other influencers have a lot of stuff. Cause one, you don't even know their financial situation. Like, are they even good? Like, you don't even like, a lot of people like to front for the gram. A lot of people like to like make believe.
Ooh. Yeah.
But you gotta stay within your budget and stay true to who you
Absolutely.
are. So like if you can only afford to go buy your outfits from Rainbow, there's nothing wrong with that. As we discussed, you could still put some fly shit together. And if anything, I think that might inspire other people who have the same means. Like I can't afford Zara maybe, but I seen this person and they only post about Rainbow and they make that shit look fly as hell and I can buy that too. So
Oh,
I'm gonna relate to that. So I think that body size, budget shouldn't stop you. I just think that maybe you just have to be a little more creative about how you approach it and just be very
okay.
clear. And that's just for anybody.
I love that. Thank you. Because like I feel like there's some bodies that's listening right now that wants to get into content, probably want to post, fashion, makeup, whatever it is. But you just have to do what's within your means. And I love that you said that because people will break the bank and go baroque just to get content. And
Yeah.
that's not
Like me and a
healthy.
friend talk about that all the time. Like, and I'm not saying that they're shading anybody because I've done that before where I've made bad financial decisions just to kind of like, and then I had to really reel it back and think about, does this make sense? Is this actually helping me achieve my goals? Or is it just an excuse for me to buy stuff?
Yeah.
And I feel like you have
And
to
that's
really be real with
real.
yourself. And it's better to like start off with that mindset when you're first starting off than to learn the hard way. But,
Hmm.
things are easier said than done.
So let's shift gears for a quick second because aside from your personal style, feel like you've also built like a platform around it. So what advice would you give to someone who wants to like start creating fashion content but feels like
A little
intimidated?
scared.
Yeah.
I feel like anything else in life, no matter like whenever you do anything for the first time, it's always going to be scary. There's always going to be a learning curve. There's always going to be those moments where you're
Mhm.
like, maybe this isn't for me. Maybe I'm doing too much. Maybe I should just like not do this. But I think that what really matters is you thinking about why you're doing it,
Okay.
whether it's just for fun, just because it's for passion, maybe you want to do it full time eventually. I think you have to be very clear on what it is that you're trying to do. And then thinking about how does that help others. I think that's just always going to be one of the key things is how is this going to relate to other people? How is this message going to be received? Like, what am I really doing here? So I think that's one of the things I would think about first. And then I would think about like other things to take in consideration is what platforms. Because like if you're first starting off, I think what also is intimidating is that there's 20,000 platforms now. And then when you listen to other creators or you see bigger creators or more established creators, you see that they're on TikTok, they're on Instagram, they have a blog, they have a newsletter. Those people have been doing this for 20 years. Okay, maybe
Yeah.
not 20 years, but they've been doing it for over a decade, a lot of them. Like the OGs, like a lot of the ones that I look up to. And I feel like I have to remind myself every now and then that they didn't start that way. And sometimes one of the things I also do, if you're scared about or you're not comfortable of where you're starting at, is if you have an influencer that you really like, scroll back to their first video. I always do that.
You
Scroll
know,
back.
they some of them be taking them down, and I hate that because it's like humble beginnings. I need to
It's
see it.
corny. Like I leave up my whack ass videos because I feel like it's part of my journey. Or some of the outfits. Okay, oh my god, some of them got archived, but some of the ones that weren't so bad, I left it because it's part of the journey. Like at one point,
Yeah.
I thought that was cool, and I feel like I should appreciate that. So, but I will say definitely scroll back and go look and see where they were. Not to compare yourself. Don't ever compare yourself to others because everyone's journey is so different. But definitely just to kind of show yourself that like they weren't a superstar or they didn't pop up and they would just fly as hell and they had to figure it out. They struggled. You might even see that they had times where they were posting consistently really great content and nobody was engaging with them. But like one thing that I've noticed though, and one thing I've heard from a lot of those OG creators is that what separated them from others is that they kept going.
Yeah.
Like they
They
kept
didn't
doing
stop.
it because like things changed. Of course, you have to like pivot and move with like the times, but like consistently and going through the rough times definitely is going to be what gets you to the other end. But I definitely feel like it's going to be scary and uncomfortable no matter what. But I feel like the only way for it not to be scary and for it not to be uncomfortable is to do it. Like I tell
I
people
love
that even
that.
at work when I train them on new machines, I'm like, it seems really scary right now. Trust me, I've been there. I was scared shitless too. But the only way to kill that is to do it. Literally. And I think other thing is like whether it's content creating that you're starting out or another endeavor in life, I think that immersing yourself around the people in that industry or in that is very key too.
Networking.
Like birds of a feather flock together. So let's say, for example, like, okay, I've been doing content creation, but now I do fitness too. I have to immerse myself in fitness as well. Like I have to go make it sounds I have to go make friends. But I'm making friends with
For
other
sure.
fitness creators. I'm engaging
Yeah.
with their content. I'm learning from other experts and following them. I'm watching YouTube videos. So same thing with content creation. When I first started out, like not saying I was obsessed, but that's what I did. Like I had podcasts I would listen to on my way to work about content creation, algorithms, other creators that were full
You're
time. Yeah, you have to study
basically,
your craft, no matter
yeah.
what it is in life. I think that definitely helps you as well. Of course, there has to be a fine balance between how much time you're spending researching versus honing your craft, but it does really help because there's so much information out there. And then also another thing I did that I would recommend to others if they have the means is that when I probably like 2 or 3 years into me creating content, I did do group coaching for like an influencer coach with group coaching.
Okay.
And what I liked about it was the same things we just discussed is that you're with other creators, right? Because at the time I didn't have a lot of creator friends or people who understood the creator world. But like networking with others, you learn from each other. You have more of a support group because you have people who understand where you're coming from. You have experts in the industry who are able to like, of course, if you're going to do one of these coaching programs, you should definitely make sure it is somebody who knows what they're doing and not trying to sell you something. Like the
Yeah,
people that I
just to
work
get a
with,
point.
like you can actually follow them on YouTube and it's free. It's called Sidewalker Daily. Carissa and Nina, they are amazing. Like they worked with brands on both sides, like with creators as well as hiring creators. So that insight between the both of them was just really helpful. And what works best for you to get things done, that's something also to consider. That I would recommend.
Okay. Because I do plan on taking like a course pretty soon for like podcasting and how to like monetize off of that. So I think it's always like great to be in a space where you can always learn.
Yeah,
One
always, no
is
matter
a
what industry.
perfectionist. Yeah, like I mean, you may be a perfectionist, but we're not perfect, and there's always
No.
room to learn. That's the humbling part about this. And I just want to know what is one gem that you would leave the listeners with that wants to embark on this content creating journey, or for people like myself that already immerse themselves in content creating but want to further that? Like, what's one gem you could leave us with?
Ooh, I feel like that's such like a deep question. It's like one of those things where when someone's waiting for the answer and let's say you don't have something really cool to say, everyone's like, oh. I'm like, oh, damn. Let me see. Let me think about this. I think that one gem I would tell somebody is that I feel like it's going to be so cliche and so corny, but
It's okay.
definitely nothing, no dream. Okay, this is what I'm going to say. A dream is just a dream without action. And I actually got that from one of my friends at work. And I feel like to me, it really resonates. And I think it could also resonate with many others because we all have dreams. Like if whether you're doing a podcast, whether you want to be a fashion creator or whatever it is that you want to be in life, it's like in order for you to get to that dream, to make it a reality, there has to be
Mhm.
action behind it. So,
Absolutely.
it's just not going to happen, which we all understand, but I think it's easier said than done to understand that point that the things that we all want in life, a lot of us want a lot of the same things. We want to have our dream career, we want to have our dream profession, we want to have our businesses, we want to do this, we want to have financial freedom, we want to have
Yes.
time. The only way to achieve those things, in my opinion, has been you're going to have to work hard. There's no way around it.
Thank you, Shanae. This was so amazing. I feel like I've learned so much, and I know the listeners are walking away with so many gems. So I thank you for being so open and sharing your journey with us. And I feel like this is an episode I may have to replay when I'm having, that imposter syndrome is kicking in. It has just been very inspiring. And I've been wanting to get you onto into the vulnerable room. And now that you're here and you dropped all these gems, I truly appreciate you. So I just want to know, where can the people follow you and keep up with your content?
Oh, well, firstly, thank you so much for having me.
No
Like,
problem.
anytime anybody invites me to be a part of their passion, their dream, their brand, I feel like, and we all know how important those things are to us. So I
Yeah,
never take that lightly. Thank you for having me on.
no
This
problem.
definitely, like I said, I was very exhausted, but I feel like our conversation, the energy is so good that I feel like I'm ready to hit the day. So thank you again for having me,
No problem.
especially because you're special to me. So
Okay.
I appreciate it. As far as where to find me for my content, so right now I'm working on getting back consistently on my different
Okay.
platforms. So there's been some adjusting, some pausing, but on Instagram it's original flavor with a U. Everyone's always like, "Oh, what are you?" Yeah, what are you? Same thing on TikTok, and then the same thing actually on all my platforms. And then I also have a fitness page if you're into fitness, and that's going to be Shanae's_fit life. As far as a website, I had a website that was doing well, but then I had switched the domain and switched the servicer, or I think the server, whatever it's called. I switched it, and I'm still working on that behind the scenes, but that's going to be coming back soon.
Me too. We're in the same boat, but
Yeah, it's a lot.
it's a lot.
Yeah, but like it's really that's one thing I will also say. I guess this also could be added to like the advice for creators is that having your own website or your own newsletters and email list is so important because we all know that platforms like Instagram, TikTok, they like to play games. So you need
Yeah.
to have your own direct way to reach your people that really are committed to knowing what you're doing and your content. So
Thank you so much. I
thank
truly
you.
appreciate it. And I'm gonna like link everything in the episode description so the listeners can contact you, connect with you. But
Yay.
again, thank you so much for being a part of this episode. And again, thank you for dropping some gems, some pointers, some financial tips too when it comes to fashion. So I appreciate you. Thank you guys all for tuning into the Vulnerable Room. And if you love this episode, make sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with a friend. So until next time, remember, fashion is about expressing yourself, not impressing others. So have fun with it. So
Yeah.
again, Sinead, thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye,
No
everybody.
problem. Come on, y'all. We know these combos ain't for the faint. Thank you for listening to the Vulnerable Room podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, head on over to Anchor or Spotify to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. Follow at The Vulnerable Room on Instagram or visit thevulnerableroom.com for the latest tea. See you next time. Love you all and have a great week.